Oysters. These mysterious creatures of the sea hold incredible secrets inside their rough, rocky shells. Welcome, young explorers, to another exciting adventure with fun animals for kids, where today we'll dive into the fascinating world of oysters, those remarkable shellfish that build pearls and clean our oceans. Have you ever walked along a beach and found an oyster shell? These amazing animals are more interesting than you might think. Oysters belong to the mollusk family, making them relatives of clams, mussels, and scallops. But oysters have their own special place in the ocean world, and we're going to learn all about them in this educational journey for kids. Let's start with where oysters call home. These incredible creatures live in coastal waters all around the world. From the cold waters of North America and Europe to the warm tropical seas of Asia and Australia, oysters have adapted to many different marine environments. They especially love estuaries, those special places where rivers meet the ocean, creating a perfect mix of fresh and salt water. Oysters attach themselves to rocks, old shells, or any hard surface they can find, often forming large groups called oyster reefs or oyster beds. These underwater cities are truly amazing habitats that support countless other sea creatures. Young explorers, did you know that oysters are incredible builders? One oyster reef can be home to more than 300 different species of animals. Fish, crabs, shrimp, and many tiny creatures find food and protection among the nooks and crannies of oyster reefs. This makes oysters what scientists call a keystone species, which means they're super important for keeping their ecosystem healthy and thriving. Learning about keystone species is fascinating for kids who are curious about how nature works together. Now let's talk about what makes an oyster an oyster. These animals have two shells connected by a hinge, allowing them to open and close. Inside those shells is the soft body of the oyster. Unlike many animals we're familiar with, oysters don't have eyes, ears, or even a brain like we do. Instead, they have specialized organs that help them survive in their watery world. They have a heart, digestive system, and gills for breathing underwater. Isn't it amazing how animals can be so different from us but still thrive in their own special way? This is why learning about diverse animals is so valuable for kids. The life of an oyster begins in a very interesting way. During the warm summer months, adult oysters release millions of eggs and sperm into the water. When these join together, they form tiny oyster larvae that float freely in the ocean currents. These baby oysters swim around for about 2 to 3 weeks before they need to find a permanent home. When they're ready to settle down, they search for a hard surface, preferably another oyster shell, and attach themselves using a special cement they produce. Once attached, they begin building their own shells and will stay in that spot for the rest of their lives. What a different lifestyle compared to animals that can run, jump, or fly. One of the most incredible things about oysters is their amazing ability to filter water. A single adult oyster can filter up to 50 gallons of water every day. As they feed, they remove tiny food particles, algae, and even pollution from the water, making it cleaner and clearer. This is why oysters are sometimes called the kidneys of the sea. Their filtering power is so strong that in places with healthy oyster populations, you can actually see the difference in water quality. This makes oysters very important for kids to learn about when studying ocean conservation and how we can protect our waters. Young explorers, have you ever heard about pearls? One of the most fascinating things about oysters is their ability to create these beautiful treasures. When a small irritant like a grain of sand or tiny parasite gets inside an oyster's shell, the oyster protects itself by covering the irritant with layers of a smooth, shiny substance called nacre, also known as mother of pearl. Over time, these layers build up to form a pearl. Not all oysters make pearls, though. Pearl oysters are special types that live mainly in warmer waters. People have valued pearls for thousands of years, using them to make beautiful jewelry and decorations. Throughout history, humans have had a special relationship with oysters. Ancient Romans loved eating these shellfish and even farmed them more than 2,000 years ago. Native Americans along North America's coasts harvested oysters for food and used their shells for tools and jewelry. In fact, some of the largest shell middens, piles of discarded shells, in the world show just how important oysters were to ancient peoples. In the 1700s and 1800s, oysters were extremely popular food in cities like New York and London. They were so common that even poor people could afford to eat them regularly. Today, oysters are considered a delicacy in many parts of the world. But oysters faced many challenges over the years. Pollution, overharvesting, and habitat destruction caused oyster populations to decline dramatically in many places. By the early 1900s, many of the great oyster reefs that once lined our coasts had disappeared. The good news is that people now understand how important oysters are, both for healthy oceans and for humans. All around the world, scientists, conservationists, and even school children are working on oyster restoration projects, helping to bring back these valuable animals and the habitats they create. These restoration stories are inspiring examples for kids learning about environmental stewardship. Let's discover some fun facts about oysters that will amaze your friends. Did you know that oysters can change their gender? Most oysters start life as males, but many will become females as they grow older. Another interesting fact is that oysters are one of the few animals we commonly eat that are still alive when harvested. Don't worry though, they don't feel pain like animals with more complex nervous systems. Also, the largest oyster ever found was over 13 inches long and was discovered in Denmark in 2013. That's about as long as a school ruler. Oysters communicate with each other in their own special way. While they don't talk or make sounds we can hear, they do respond to changes in their environment. When one oyster detects danger and snaps its shell closed, nearby oysters often do the same. It's like they're sending silent warning signals to protect their neighbors. Despite not having a brain, oysters display some remarkably complex behaviors. They can sense changes in water temperature, light, and chemical composition, allowing them to respond to their environment. They even have daily rhythms, opening their shells wider during high tide when more food is available. This natural intelligence helps them survive even though they can't move around to escape danger or find new food sources. Young explorers, the story of oysters teaches us an important lesson. Even creatures that seem simple at first glance can play vital roles in keeping our planet healthy. These amazing animals that clean our waters, build homes for other sea creatures, and sometimes create beautiful pearls show us that every living thing has value in our world. As we finish our underwater adventure with oysters today, I hope you've discovered why these shelled wonders are so fascinating and important. Learning about animals like oysters helps kids understand how interconnected all life on Earth truly is. Every creature, no matter how small or strange-looking, has its own special place in nature's grand design. If you enjoyed this journey into the world of oysters, be sure to join us for more exciting animal adventures here on YouTube at Fun Animals for Kids. There are so many more amazing creatures waiting for us to discover together. From the depths of the ocean to the highest mountains, our world is filled with incredible animals with stories to tell and lessons to teach us. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more fun, educational videos for kids that bring the wild, wonderful world of animals right to your screen. Until our next adventure, keep exploring, stay curious, and remember that learning about animals is one of the most exciting journeys you can take.